That was In the Blank Space from German composer and producer Josin. She recently released her debut album called In the Blank Space as well, and she joins me now on set in the studio. Thank you so much for being on the show, Josin. This is your first album. It's a precious thing, first album. Now, how did you choose the songs to put on this album, and is there a common theme between them?
Well, I think it was just to finish kind of an episode like the last couple of years, and I'm a slow writer, so it wasn't like it was not the case that I had 200 songs that I could choose from. So it was basically my most precious songs that I put on this record, and so there's not really a story from A to Z on that album, but I think as I write all those songs and I produce them, it's they're kind of related.
It's a collection of work over the last couple of years. Now, Josin is your stage name. Can you tell us what it means? Does it mean anything?
I'm so sorry, but there's really not a great story behind that. I just didn't want to use my real name, I think, and so I was. Yeah, maybe that's kind of an artistic approach, but I was like going, okay, what could sound nice, what could look nice? So I was playing around with some letters, and then I came up with Josin.
That's perfectly good reason. Now, the album is titled In the Blank Space. The song that we just heard is also called In the Blank Space. What is this blank space that you're talking about?
The blank space is it's kind of everything. We're surrounded by everything and by nothing. And the message of the song is that this nothingness is full of everything if you want to. And sometimes you're just struggling. You don't see the things clear in front of you, but everything kind of is there if you want to reach out for it. And if you trust yourself and everything.
It's a good metaphor maybe for an album as well.
Yeah. I mean, it was the latest song I wrote, and of course you're always in love with your newest song. So that was kind of very present for me in that completion phase of the album. But I thought, maybe it's a good title too, because it's kind of an invitation for the listener as well into that blank space and make it your own space and your own interpretation with the music.
Well, it's a beautiful album, and we're going to listen to another song off it. It's called Once Apart. Take a listen.
Eyes are filled with your space, and I will wait for awakening.
Now, your songs are these beautiful, kind of slow-moving compositions that combine neoclassical elements, but also some beautifully layered electronics. Who are the artists that inspire you? I must admit, I hear a little bit of Radiohead.
Yeah, there's lots of Radiohead. And then, I don't know. I think artists like John Hopkins, Kiasmos, very, very much. I really love those. So that's for the electronical part. But I grew up. I listened to Björk a lot, and she's crazy. She can do everything. Maybe that gives you the inspiration to really, there's no wrong or right. Just do it. But. I'm kind of stuck in between those two worlds, like the electronic world and the classical world. And I wanted to be way more electronic for the album. I was like, it's going to be an electronic album, but I didn't succeed. I'm between both worlds, but I'm happy with that.
And you come from a musical background as well. I mean, your parents are both opera singers, right? Your father's German, your mother's Korean. And you grew up in this musical household. That must have been a lot of pressure there. Did it inspire you as well?
Yes, I mean, when I was a kid, I wasn't horrified with classical music, but of course there was other music that I wanted to listen to, like pop music, and I just didn't have the access to pop music at home, and but I think in the end it had a huge impact on me, and like now, or when I was producing the album, I just kind of knew like how strings have to sound. I never learned music theory or anything like that, and my parents actually they didn't expect me to follow that musical path. It was more the opposite. Do something.
They were pushing you away.
Yeah.
because you studied medicine, right?
Yeah, I did, but yeah, I dropped
Decided
out.
to veer back into
right.
yeah.
Yeah, but I guess the influence was there in a more subtle way because it was just present the whole time, the classical music. But now that I'm older, I really appreciate that, unconscious formation.
So it's a kind of in your blood and coming out in your music. Now, what's interesting about your songs is they feature these digital tapestries. There's a very organic element to them, and nature is often, I find, in your songs, sometimes in the titles like Ocean's Wait, as well as in your music videos, which are absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
They're very similar. Is it a conscious effort to put nature into your music videos, or does it just happen naturally?
I think it's a very thankful setting to just film nature because it's so perfect and you don't need to do anything. It's also easy to just have a camera or a drone and to be surrounded by beautiful landscape and to film it. And actually, I mean, the music starts with the nature because I'm often traveling and writing my songs on the road, so it kind of feels natural to do the videos there too.
Where you were inspired.
Yeah, it's like a cycle, maybe. Yeah.
Because you mentioned you write your songs on the road. What is your songwriting process like? Because you produce them as well. So how does it work? You come up with a theme or?
Yeah, I think the very, very first inspiration start on the road and with very simple equipment. I learned that is a better way because sometimes when you're sitting in the studio, you have all your instruments and sometimes you fall in love too quickly with certain sounds or beats and then you don't question the song anymore, you know? And on the road, if you just have a little keyboard, you're sitting there in the middle of nowhere and if the song sucks, it sucks. You know, there's no way to hide it.
Exactly,
so,
you can't cover it with layers.
You can't cover it, so you're really obliged to do correct or like real songwriting. So I like to gather all those ideas while being on the road, but the work starts in the studio then. So I produce them in the studio.
In the studio, and it makes this beautiful combination on your album.
Thank you.
And we're going to move on to some other music news that's making headlines. It's 13th time is the charm for the Los Angeles rock legend band Weezer. This month, they've released their 13th studio album. It's called The Black Album, and it's their latest in a long-running series of color-themed LPs. It comes hot off the heels of a surprise cover record called The Teal Album. Now, with The Black Album, Weezer swivel back to their unmistakable original material, all the while offering a new palette of sounds and unexplored avenues. Check out the song High as a Kite.
I'm out of reach, I won't be coming down anytime soon. Anytime soon. I'm high as a kite. Don't you think I know what I'm worth? Flying like a beautiful bird. I'm high as a kite. Don't you think I know what I'm worth? Why I gotta come down to earth?
Here in France, singer-songwriter Claire Vincent has released her second album. It's called Nuit sans sommeil, Sleepless Nights. Now, the electro-pop opus continues in the footsteps of her successful and addictive first album, Retiens mon désir, which was released in 2016. Now, Nuit sans sommeil mixes dreamy 80s synth-pop and dancey chansons françaises. It's a unique blend that you can hear live at the prestigious Cigale Concert Hall in Paris on April 9th. Now here is a taste of her album. It's called Dans le Strass. Now, Josin, you're going to be playing here in Paris in October at the Pop-Up du Label. And you've played here in France before, supporting other artists. This is going to be your first concert for your project.
Yeah.
How would you compare French crowds to other crowds?
I really love them,
Oh,
actually.
really?
Yeah. No, it's super nice, and whenever you speak a little French, it's always helpful.
And you speak
and very
beautiful
good.
French.
Oh, thank you. No, I really loved it. Paris, I remember a support show with Ryex. It was one of the best shows of the whole tour.
Good
It's
to
really,
know.
really nice. I'm really looking forward to come.
So when it's in October, it's the
October 19th.
19th at the Pop-Up du Label. Now, finally, fans of Hozier can heave a sigh of relief. 4.5 years after his debut self-titled album, the Irish singer-songwriter is finally back with Wasteland Baby. This hotly anticipated sophomore record features a whopping 14 tracks. Now, many of the songs recall the debut's bluesy folk vibes and inventive lyricism. He's setting off on a North American tour this March, followed by a European tour starting in August, so perhaps you can catch him while he's on the road. We're going to have to leave you with that, but before we go, I want to thank you, Josin. Thank you so much for being on the show. Definitely check out her debut album. It's called In the Blank Space. It's amazing. I definitely recommend it, and we're going to play you out with a song from Hozier's album. It's called Movement. Now, for more arts and culture news, you can, of course, head to our website and stay in touch on social media. Stay tuned to France 24. More news coming up right after this.
So move me, baby. Shake like the bough of a willow tree. You do it naturally. Move me, baby. So move me, baby. Like if